Hey guys, Nicole here, and I cook plants. So today we're gonna make spicy black bean sweet potato burgers, and I'm gonna show you how to make a sweet corn coleslaw to go on top of them. It's gonna be amazing and delicious. Now, I love making veggie burgers at home because there's no like wrong way to do it. You can pretty much do it however you want, and it's a great way to use leftovers and everything like that. So let's get cooking. All right, first, you're gonna preheat your oven, and I like to bake mine at 425. Again, it's not like cooking a real burger where you have to get it up to temperature. Because it's all vegetables, you can play around with the cooking time based on what's in it and based on the texture you like. So if you like them a little softer, then a lower temperature for a little bit less time works too. I like mine to have a little bit of crisp on the outside, so I like to bake them at a higher temperature. All right, few of the basics. When I make veggie burgers, I always do some kind of potato, some kind of bean, and some kind of grain. So my potato today, as I said, was a sweet potato. Now your sweet potato, I've already baked this, so it's super soft. And I like to bake mine at 425 for around an hour, sometimes up to 70 minutes, because you just don't know how long it's gonna take. But it should be nice and squishy, and this is super hot. You just want to peel off the skin because sweet potato skin isn't as tasty as like a white potato. If you're using a white potato and you don't want to take the skin off, you can totally do that. So it's kind of whatever you like. Mine just came out of the oven, so it's still really hot, which is okay. They can be hot. They don't have to cool down to go in your veggie burger, nothing like that. We're just gonna fold that up so all the skin is now in the tin foil and you have this beautiful sweet potato. I know mine's white. It is still a sweet potato. It's just a white sweet potato. It tastes pretty much exactly the same as a regular one. And you can just throw that right into the food processor. You don't need to cut it up. It doesn't need any special instructions. It could go right in the food processor. No big deal. Next is our beans. And I am going to do black beans. You can use white beans. You can make garbanzo beans. Anything you really want. And that can is just going right into the food processor as well. The whole can. They could be seasoned black beans. Literally whatever you have on in your cupboards kind of works here. And next, I do like to do some kind of grain. Today, I'm just going to do this really quick brown rice and quinoa mix. If you are going to get a packaged one, just be careful. A lot of them have sugar and things like that. So make sure you're reading your labels so you can get a nice natural one. It can be any kind of rice or any kind of grain. I've made them with lentils, quinoa, brown rice, white rice, leftover rice works really great. So if you made some kind of dish with rice and vegetables, throw that in for your veggie burgers. It'll be amazing. In fact, then it's already pre-seasoned and that's hugely helpful. So that goes right into the food processor. So you have your rice, your beans, your potato. So far it's looking good and starting to even smell good already. Next, because I want my black bean burgers to be a little bit spicy, I'm going to throw in this can of Rotel. If you don't have Rotel, you can also use salsa. That works super good. It also keeps some of the moisture in there, so it doesn't, like sometimes veggie burgers can fall apart if they don't have enough liquid or enough moisture. I'm going to throw that entire can in there. See, this is easy peasy. All right, now we're going with nutritional yeast because I do want it to be a little savory, so I want kind of that hint of cheesy flavor that nutritional yeast brings. So here, and you don't have to be specific, I'm going to sort of measure right here. I have a 1/3 cup. That's probably about the most that you want to do. So I'm just gonna fill that up right over my thing and then pour it right in. Nice. And last big ingredient before we get to the seasonings, this is so easy. I know you guys can make these at home. Is I like to add a little bit of breadcrumbs sometimes. It's just to add that sticky flavor. But if you're gluten-free, this is not, you do not have to add the breadcrumbs. They will come out totally fine. Or you could do a little bit of garbanzo bean flour or almond flour or something like that if you still want a little bit of that stickiness. So I'm just gonna, same thing, take that third cup, kind of hold it over, and I'm not gonna fill it all the way up because we don't need that much. Just gonna throw that in there, put these back. Now comes one of my favorite parts, is the seasoning. Like I said, I kind of want it a little spicy, so I'm gonna do a little bit of sriracha. Always garlic powder. And I like the powder instead of the salt. Get a good heaping thing of that. You cannot have enough garlic. If you have fresh garlic, you can throw that in there too. That would be even better. I'm gonna do some onion powder. And a little bit of cayenne pepper, because I want that spice. And we're kind of going with a little bit of like a Mexican seasoning. I like to do that when I have black beans because it kind of reminds me of like an amazing Mexican dish. So we're also going to add a little chili powder here. And if you like to measure out your spices, you could do maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, start with that 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. If it comes to garlic and onion, you could do a little bit more, so a 1/2 teaspoon to a full teaspoon, and stuff will turn out amazing. Salt, always salt. I like to get way in there. You did add a whole potato and you have a whole can of beans, and both of those things do well with a nice, strong salt flavor. I'm going to do a little bit of the smokehouse maple, and I like this because it adds that hint of sweet, which is always a nice complement to all the chili seasoning that you have. So a little bit of that. And lastly, I got this salsa seasoning, and it works out amazing for burgers. Like today, we use Rotel instead of salsa. If you're using actual salsa, you probably don't need salsa seasoning. But since I didn't have any salsa and I only had a can of Rotel, I'm gonna do a good heaping blend of that. All right, so all your stuff is done for a veggie burger. Amazing, right? Easy. I'm just gonna put that top on, and now it's time to mix. So you want to blend it. This is kind of up to you. If you like it a consistency that's a lot creamier, then blend it until all the chunks are gone. If you kind of like seeing the big chunks of potato, like the sweet potato in there, then make sure you stop blending it when you're still seeing like chunks of orange go by. Because that way you'll still have that hearty veggie burger. But there's no right way. So it's however you like the consistency of it is how much or little you'll blend it. All right, blending. Open it up. Perfect. All right, so let's get a close up here. This is how I kind of like my veggie burgers. They're not quite chunky, but everything's not quite pasty. I'm kind of an in-betweener. So there you go. Put this there. I'm going to switch my cutting board for baking sheet. Now the baking sheet is lined with parchment paper. You don't have to do that, but the parchment paper helps from them sticking a bunch because they will stick a little bit even to this. And it's a little hard to flip them over if they're stuck and you don't want your veggie burgers to become this big mess. So I would do parchment paper if I were you. We're going to come over here. Get a big giant spoon. Now, just spoon them on. I usually make about 6 patties. Now, sometimes they're extra large patties, depending on how much is in my food processor, but I want to kind of cook everything at once instead of doing multiple trays full of stuff. So I'm okay if they're big patties. If you don't like that and you'd rather have more, then separate it out into two trips. Let's get this out of here so we can get the rest of this. It was too slimy. All right. I'm just going to scrape all this in there so we'll have a perfect bowl full of our veggie burger mix. Great. Goes in the sink. Okay, now we can keep going. And as I'm kind of going here, I'll start forming these a little bit. It's okay if they're really soft. You're thinking, oh, they're never going to stick together. That's totally okay. They will form into patties, I promise you. Here I'm just trying to make them a little even. So you want your patties to be as even as you can get them, so that way they all cook about the same. Form in my circles here. You can make squares if you want to make squares. Sometimes I just eat them on bread, so having a square-shaped patty fits the bread a little bit easier. Just using the back of the spoon to kind of mold them out. Almost done. Right, they are looking phenomenal. All right. Don't want to leave anything behind. Okay, look at these. So, this is our patties we have so far. All right, they are going right into the oven. They don't need oil. I'm going to set this first side for 32 minutes. Now, the 32 minutes, they are kind of set it and forget it. You don't have to check on them at all. When your timer goes off in 32 minutes, then you pull them out, see how they are, see if they're the texture that you like. If they're not crispy enough on top, then we'll put them in for a couple more minutes. If they're looking good to you, we'll flip them and cook the other side. While those cook, we are going to make our delicious coleslaw. Coleslaw is probably one of my favorite things. But I really like traditional coleslaw because sometimes it's a little too sweet for me. So I make my coleslaw a little different. We're still going to start with cabbage. You can cut your own cabbage. You could grab a bag of cabbage. You can do purple cabbage, white cabbage, whatever you want. Mine is, like this one has got the cabbage and the carrots in it. So I really dig that it has both. Hugely preferable for me. Next, I really love corn in my cabbage. I know it sounds weird, but the sweet crunch of the corn is awesome. And I like this, I always call it Fiesta corn. I don't know why, but it's the red and green peppers in with the corn because it's always that sweet and spicy kind of together. Oh. A couple more things. Peppers and onions. Now, I love these tiny sweet bell peppers. They are one of my most favorite things. So we're going to grab a whole bunch of them. And we're just going to cut them up. How you cut them, the shape that you cut them, it's totally up to you. I kind of like mine in little slivers, so we're gonna cut them like that. Okay guys, and I'm not a professional chef, so don't laugh at my cutting skills. And I like things that are fast and easy. So we're gonna do this the fast and easy way. Cut them in half the long way. So now you have like a nice kind of flat pepper to work with. And we just do tiny thin little slices. Little slivers of peppers, and those go right in. You don't have to worry about the seeds. The seeds aren't spicy. Some people don't like the seeds, so they'll clean out your peppers, and that's fine. I'm all about quick, easy, fast cooking, so I just leave the seeds in there. I will tell you they make a little bit of a mess, meaning that when you cut them, the seeds kind of pop out all over the place. That's maybe the downside. Slivers. Ooh, coleslaw already smells amazing. Smells like peppery corn goodness. And slicing. Couple more. Doing good. Coleslaw looks awesome. Now, depending on how much you like these peppers, depends on how many you'll use. I love the added crunch that they bring, so I like a bunch of them. I like it to almost be spread out so that every bite of coleslaw has some peppers in there. Again, they're sweet peppers, so if you have people who don't like spicy, it's okay. They will be okay, not to worry that there's so many peppers. They're even a little bit sweeter than like maybe a red bell pepper. And they're great for just snacks. So we usually always have little sweet peppers in our house. Almost done. We'll make this one the last one. All right. Whew, looking awesome. Throw these away. Or if you have a composter, those make great additions to composters. All right, onion. Now, a whole onion, since onions are really strong and this is going to be a raw onion, is probably too much. I just cut like a chunk off of the side. There's no specific amount. If you like a lot of onion, then do a lot of onion. That's totally fine. Just think, you know, if you're sharing this with a lot of other people, that you want to be careful with how much raw onion you put into things. And I like to chop it really fine. Again, not a professional chef, so cutting skills are what they are. Almost done. And I'm going to turn it the other way. Make little tiny cuts. Throw all those in there. We're almost done with the base of our coleslaw. Last but not least, I'm gonna throw some cilantro in there. I love cilantro. I think it should be in everything, just everything. That's it, because it's freaking delicious. You don't have to be that beautiful with your chopping here. I just cut a big section off, and then I'll go through, maybe make it a little tinier, just because chopping it a little bit brings out the flavor, but nothing fancy. You know, I feel like sometimes people don't want to cook because they don't know how to chop certain things or it takes time. So we're not about perfection here. We're just about easy, fun, delicious, fresh food. Or at least that's my motto. Big chunk of cilantro. Amazing. Rinse my hands here. Towel dry. Okay, so now you have your cilantro, your onions, your peppers, your corn, and your cabbage. Great base. I like a spicy sweet. So, a little bit of sriracha, garlic. You'll notice the theme. Garlic goes in everything. Onion, also onion. Salt. Okay, here's where the smokehouse maple really comes into play. I'm actually going to take the whole top off because you want a decent amount. You're just going to do a good splattering of seasoning because this is a spicy, sweet salsa. If you really like fresh jalapenos, you can also put fresh jalapenos in there. I'm a big fan, but since my boo's going to eat this too, I don't want to make it too spicy for him. So we got almost all our seasonings. Let's do some fresh black pepper. Never open that thing. You can use pre-ground one. It works also as well. Sometimes I like that better because it goes faster than grinding this. And last but not least, little bit of mayo. So I know a lot of people don't like mayo, so you don't want to overload it. And once you kind of put it in, it's hard to get it back out. So I like to start with just a big spoonful. So we'll go just about that, just a big spoon, and we're gonna slowly start to mix this around. Now, I know a lot of coleslaws are made with like milk and sugar and a ton more mayo, but we want this to be a little lighter of a coleslaw, so we want the seasoning to come through and not much else. So you don't want a huge coating of mayo, or you don't want it to be really like watery or runny because then you'll just soak your burger that we're going to put it on. We don't want that. Oh, this is looking phenomenal. If you want more mayo, so you're looking at it and you're like, that's a way too dry, I would actually put a little bit more in there, just a half spoon. You can do that. Mixing it around. Keep going. And this is Hellmann's vegan mayo. That is my favorite. I've tried the other mayos and they're okay, but I'm one of those big mayo snobs, and this is probably the closest I found to like regular Hellmann's mayo. All right, look at this goodness. This is corn, peppers, cilantro, cabbage, a little bit of mayo, sriracha. So you have your spicy, sweet corn coleslaw. Amazing. It smells so good. It smells like maple smokiness. So now that you have that ready, the last part is just to wait for our burgers to be done. Flip them, cook them, and we'll put it all together. Can't wait. Time to pull the veggie burgers out of the oven. All right. Just gonna turn off the oven. Let's pull out some delicious veggie burgers. Ooh, they smell so good. Shut that. Right. I like to take my veggie burgers and put them instantly on a cooling rack. And I like that because then they stay a little bit crispy. As you can tell, they're nice and firm and crispy. All right, so now you have your amazing veggie burgers are done. You could choose to do all kinds of things with them. If you're not eating gluten or bread or things like that, then you don't have to make a sandwich out of it. You could just take your veggie burger, throw on some amazing corn salsa, maybe add an avocado or jalapeno to it. It all makes a delicious snack. You can pile that right on the plate and eat it all together like that, or you can make the full sandwich, burger bun, or a French bread or toast, whatever you like, however you want to eat your veggie burger. It's totally up to you, but they're crispy, they're delicious, they're amazing, and I hope you enjoy them. And this has been Nicole, cooking plants. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.